Now I would like to request Professor Saleemul Huq, OBE, Director, International Center for Climate Change and Development, to share his reflection on Summit Declaration, please.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. It's a great pleasure for me to be invited to say a few words at this closing session. Let me first start by congratulating the organizers for an excellent event. I wasn't able to spend all 3 days here, but I did spend a good time, a number of sessions, and they were all very, very well organized and extremely useful discussions. So congratulations on a very well put together event. Also, congratulations on a well put together declaration from the event. I just want to share a few thoughts about where do we go from here in terms of tackling the impacts of climate change. The first one is to pick up on something that was mentioned by Minister Sherry Rahman of Pakistan. We have now, unfortunately, entered what I call the era of loss and damage from climate change. The UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, has an even more apt phrase. He calls it the era of climate boiling. This is bringing us, reminding us of the proverb of frogs in a pot that is very slowly temperature going up, and the frogs don't realize it until they're boiled and dead. Human beings are not frogs. We can tell when the temperature has gone up, and it went up last month. The month of July 2023 was the hottest month the world has ever seen. And so, unfortunately, the future is not the same as the past. The future is going to be a lot worse than the past. That's the bad news. The good news is we happen to be standing in the spot on the global planet that on the one hand is extremely vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, but on the other hand is way ahead of most other countries in recognizing that fact and getting our act together in terms of figuring out what to do. We in this region, in this country, and in the countries neighboring us have all recognized this as a major issue. And that's the first step in taking action. And the parliamentarians who came here today and the declaration that they have made is a very, very good one to take into action going forward. Now, what do we need to take that action? Obviously, parliamentarians have a role to play, governments have a role to play, but I believe citizens have an even bigger role to play than the parliamentarians and the governments. And by citizens, I mean young citizens in particular. One of the things I enjoyed most in the last few days I was here is to see so many young people participate actively in the discussions. Young people are our asset. The people of Bangladesh, the people of our neighboring countries, we need to invest in them to make them into climate experts, climate champions, and solution providers, not just for us in our countries, in the region, but for the rest of the world. Because what's happening here today is going to happen elsewhere tomorrow. And if we find solutions tomorrow, what happens day after tomorrow, they will ask us to share our solutions with the rest of the world. We have an opportunity here, but it's a narrow window of opportunity of educating and empowering and capacitating our young people to become real climate champions. And I'm proud to say Bangladesh has many of them. We need to multiply them and do so also within the region. So with that note of hope, let me conclude by thanking everybody for an excellent meeting. Thank you.